Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Tate Takes back with another video. This one is going to be on KaVonte Turpin and the Dallas Cowboys, right? KaVonte is a guy who come out of the UFL, I believe it is called, if I'm not mistaken, the one that The Rock is involved in, and I think he got part ownership in that, right? Anyway, nonetheless, he was the MVP of the league, being a wide receiver, but most known for his kick returns and his punt returns, just dominating in that aspect, and just putting his talents on showcase and his talents in front of the entire world. Now he's in the NFL, and that stage is much bigger, right? The lights are much brighter. Especially playing for the Dallas Cowboys, the most prestigious and most well-known team in football, right? Their team is considered the gold standard of the NFL teams. It's considered America's team, right? Dallas Cowboys, the colors, the silver and blue, is just, it looks good on the field. Everybody wants to play for the Cowboys. It's like the LA Lakers of football, right? Same thing, vice versa. Either way, Turpin is now in the NFL, played in a game over the weekend, and he dominated, right? The reason I say he dominated is because as a kick returner and a punt returner, he put up the most points on the team. Granted, the starters did not play, but he made his mark. And when you're that type of guy, obviously, America, we root for the underdog. America, we root for the American dream story, right? And that's coming from the bottom, making it to the top, and proving that America is a place where you can be whatever you want and you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got to face the consequences, rather good or bad. But KaVonte Turpin is definitely an example of that story, right? Undrafted kid, right? He did his thing in college. He's overcome a few and had to jump over a few hurdles, right? But he's here now in Dallas, in the NFL, and he proves his worth. You know what I mean? He proved his worth by scoring 2 touchdowns in a preseason game, but he can absolutely do this in a regular season, and he can make a career out of returning kicks and returning punts. He can make a career out of it. He's not as fast as like a Devin Hester, who also made a career out of it, who to me considered the best kick return, punt return guy to ever step on the field. Devin Hester is definitely that guy, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Because he just did it his whole career. He did it in high school, he did it in college, he did it in the NFL. He was an elite at it, and eventually they got to the point where they just stopped kicking the ball to him. That's where it got to. Because if they would have continued to kick the ball to him, the stats would be much greater than they are, today. But back to Turpin, right? Not only can he be dynamic in the kick return game, right? But he can also be dynamic in your offense. He can also play some receiver, right? He may not be your number one guy. Can't be a number, but he can definitely be a guy who can run a jet sweep, right? He can definitely be a guy who can get down the field and make a play over the top, stretch out the field, make guys pay attention to him. He can be a decoy, not only going up the field, but pre-snap, he can be a threat in motion, right? And if you got the right coach, the right play caller, you can definitely put him in positions to be successful and put him in situations to help the team be successful. He got a lot to bring to the table. Yes, he's small, 5'7", small frame, not many pounds on the many pounds of meat around the bones on the body for him. But nonetheless, he's a dynamic player. He can put points on the board for you. He showed you that, right? Only thing he has to do is stay out of harm's way. When you play in the NFL, obviously that's not going to be the easiest thing to do. But it can be done. It can be done. He got to put on some weight, right? He got to bulk up a little bit, right? But ultimately, he's probably not going to grow any taller than 5'7". But, shit, he might not have to grow taller than 5'7". What he showed us this past weekend, he can put points on the board. He can help you be successful. He can create big plays for you. He can create big plays in short time for you, right? He showed that he can be a dynamic player. He showed you that he can cause attention to himself, even if he just needs to be a decoy, right? Obviously, you're going to have to continue to get him the ball for him to be a decoy at certain points. But he's a very, very valuable player. Also, one of the great pickup, or maybe the only good pickup that Dallas has went out and got over the offseason. Dallas didn't make many moves, and they had moves to make. They just didn't make them. They don't want to spend money for whatever reason it seems like right now. They don't want to spend money, especially if it's a guy that they don't feel is going to be reliable. This guy here, he's worked his ass off. He's played in all different type of leagues. He played in a league in Poland. This guy's playing all over the place, right? Now he finally gets his shot on the big stage, and he shows out. Man, there's nothing more I like to see than that. When you get on that big stage that you've been working so hard for all this time and all of these years, and then you finally get the opportunity. But not only when you get the opportunity, you seize it. You make the most of it. You play at your best. You can't ask for more than 2 touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, they won the game 32-18. If he don't score those 2 touchdowns, that game is a whole lot different, if you ask me, right? It's a game that you could potentially lose. And at the same time, you could come out and win, right, too, at the same time. Now, who knows if they would have scored, with the offense on those 2 possessions. But maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it doesn't knock the breath out of the other team and put them in a position where they don't feel like they can compete because those points is going on the board so fast. That fucks with another team mentally. They absolutely do. You gotta believe it. And if you don't believe it, then you don't know nothing about sports and how mentally you have how much involved you have to be mentally to the game. How much the games involve, or how much the game involves your mental capacity, right? It's not just a physical sport. It's to me, much more of it is a mental game. It's great to be fast. It's great to be strong. It's great to be quick. It's great to be able to catch. It's great to be able to throw. It's great to be able to kick. It's great to be able to kick return. But ultimately, you can have all the physical gifts in the world. If you don't have what it takes mentally to get the job done, none of that matters. You know what I mean? And KaVonte, he got it, man. It's Tate Takes. Like, comment, subscribe. We out of here. Let's get it.